Hi, Sonia. Thank you so much for joining me in this podcast episode. Really appreciate it. How are you today?
Wonderful. Thank you for having me, Russell. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everyone who's joining us. It's wonderful to be your guest. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. The pleasure is mine. And thank you so much for joining me in this call. And yes, today we have an interesting topic to talk about, which we mentioned earlier, which is like four pillars of setting your goals so you can achieve more with your life and business and career-wise, personal, professional, both. So before we get to that topic, I'd love to know more about
Yeah.
yourself. How did you end up being the entrepreneur yourself, and how did you choose the coaching world?
Wow. Okay. So I'm a licensed therapist and I've been in the helping profession and helping people with self-help for about 15 years
Mm.
and different capacities in different areas. And it was always my goal to be my own business owner and to own my own private practice and to really just take that leap of faith in myself.
Yeah.
And so, I found it somewhat limiting to only help people in my certain state or not be able to help people who don't qualify for a DSM diagnosis.
Right.
So it was a passion of mine to always do this. And I also realized that this is what a lot of my clients were having difficulty in their own lives, which is taking that leap of faith
Yeah.
and putting all their chips in themselves and going after their big dream. So that's the best way you can teach someone and help somebody is for you to do it yourself as well, so you can
Mm.
experience it. So that's what kind of was my launching pad in order to go forwards and yeah, be the entrepreneur that I am today. So very excited about
Great.
that.
And how long your journey been? How long you been an entrepreneur now?
About 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what did you do
yeah.
prior to that?
So I was working in private practice and I was working as a substance abuse counselor, and I was working with military families and helping in different group settings
Yeah.
to really just implement, yeah, different mental health strategies and supports.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations in your 2 years. And it's best thing ever, isn't it? Like being your own boss and doing what you own terms. And
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
I've been doing that for the last 10 years now, and time flies. So yeah, get to the what topic we're going to talk today is the four pillars for like a goal setting. So why do you actually choose like four pillars? Like when we try to set a goal, we always have like a professional goals, like a business, revenue, and etc. So coming to your point, like you chose like a four pillars for different sector. So what are those four pillars like, and how we can implement it to do like our goal setting? Is like a 2023 is nearly is soon enough, like only 3 months to go, and a lot of people are setting their goals for new year. So how we can implement your four pillars and can restructure our proper goal setting?
Yeah. Well, you're right when there is a lot of different avenues and there's a lot of different things
Yeah.
your brain wants to go to and you can focus on when you are goal setting. And my goal is to really help people get really clear on what it is their goal is and to
Mhm.
remove that self-doubt so that they can find that leadership skill within them and live that authentic life,
Yeah.
and shine bright and really be who they want to be. And so the first goal the pillar that I really feel is important is your community of support. I mean, I make this comparison to, even Jesus picked 12 apostles, right?
Mm.
I mean, he knew he couldn't do it alone. And it's true. I mean, you really can't
Yeah.
do everything alone. You do need that support system around you. And even psychology supports this. That is, when you surround yourself with positivity and encouragement and motivation, it really increases your motivation.
Yeah.
And the opposite is true too, right? I mean, if you surround yourself, at first you might have great motivation, but if you're not getting motivation and support and your self-doubt creeps in and you just allow it to live there, in time that motivation will deplete and you are no longer as passionate or, until something else occurs in your life that resparks you. But, your motivation depletes in time.
Mm.
So it's really important to have that community and that support. And it's funny because actually I was thinking when I came up with this, I thought about even my own life. I was taking a yoga training, and when I approached the program, I wanted to finish it by the end of the year.
Right.
And that was my goal. And, after, you know, going through the whole program and, all the details and everything that came with it and the assignments, and I was only one big assignment away from completing that. But, after the live classes, I kind of lost that motivation as well. I kind of was like, well, I do have a year to complete this. And which also means like I have no idea when I'm going to complete this. And it so happened that I became friends with two girls along the way in the program. They reached out to me and they were all kind of just like, I'm actually turning in my last assignment next week. And, the other girls, like, yeah, I'm going to complete before the end of the year. So I'm doing mine, like I'm finishing it up this weekend. And they're like, what about you? And I was like, I did have the goal of finishing it before the end of the year. Now I'm there and I have all the knowledge and I'm still motivated. And they're like encouraging me. They're like, yeah, you
Yeah.
just get it done and then you're done. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, okay. I'm gonna do it right now. And I just pushed it and I got it done and I completed it. And that's just a really great reminder to myself, as to, wow, if that community of support wasn't there, I probably would still be, or I would have waited to the last minute and the procrastination and, all the self-doubt and, oh, it's there and I have to do it. And, all that just feeds you and that
Yeah.
unnecessary anxiety that you really don't need, but it's there anyways. And so I'm really happy that I did finish it, but it was with that community of support.
Mm.
So I find that to be highly helpful. And it's also this like, it's
How
this,
do you find the community of support? What do you think like is like internal or external, like your family members or friend circle, or do you think like
yeah.
a stranger, like getting a coach or something, a consultant?
Yeah, it's definitely an extrinsic, outside yourself support system. So this goes into number two, actually. So I love that segue, and that is like, access to knowledge
Mm.
having that access to knowledge. And, the truth is a lot of times, like it's not the lack of resources that keeps people stuck. It's the lack of resourcefulness.
Yeah.
And there is, community around and, family, friends, partner, colleagues. If you're not finding it there, there's coaches, there's, mentors, there's um, a whole bunch. But this is where we go back to, yeah, being able to be resourceful. And you don't know what is out there unless you look.
Yeah.
So, there might be a library who's hosting a creative writing workshop. And you don't know that because, you haven't actually been able to explore what is in your community to support you. There's, different, you know, programs to help people with speaking and being able to be better at public speaking. I mean, there's so many different support systems. There's groups on Facebook.
Mm.
That was really helpful for me when I was taking my licensing exam, is joining like a Facebook group and hearing other people where they were and encouraging each other. And I found it to be more vast and widespread, but then sometimes you realize that it also takes for you to go out and search for it
Yeah.
because they're there. It's just you have to go out there and search for it. And, it kind of goes back to the law of like vibration, like, your energy attracts your tribe. So, what you're putting out there, you are more open to receive. So if you're looking for that, it will come in different ways, but you have to, open up your wanting and will to allow that to come in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, definitely. And the support system is like really important for like achieving any kind of goal. Like otherwise, like your own like things doesn't go on your plans as you planted, and then who are you gonna share it with? So someone can like motivate you and put you in the right direction. Probably you're thinking negative about it, and someone like, "Hey, this thing is not that bad as you think," and probably
Hmm.
look at this angle, and you're gonna find a solution, or do it this way. You tried this way, it didn't work out. So yeah, I totally agree with you. So coming back to like what would be like a second pillar for like for the goal setting?
Yeah. So the second is like the access to knowledge, right? Is going out and searching for the areas where you want support and need support, because you don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Mm.
The wheel works fine. It's more so tapping into all that resource that has already been compiled and done for you, and really just maximizing your time
Yeah.
and not doing it from the beginning. when there's so many other things that, do come up when you're goal setting, a lot of times it's mindset, so don't worry, you'll have to deal with that later. So right now it's just getting yourself tapped into that knowledge and, finding that support system. And then the third is, it really does depend on the questions you ask when you're trying to approach your goal. If you approach your goal with, how am I gonna reach this goal? You're already putting yourself in
Mm,
a negative mindset because your mind doesn't know how it's gonna achieve this goal.
yeah.
I mean, the first thought, it's like, okay, well, how are you gonna do that? Well, uh, the mind gets really, I don't know. And then it just, the wonderful mind that we have, it wants to keep us safe. So it already is, kind of like, hey, even though you might not be happy where you are, this it's a familiar unhappiness. We can just stay here
Yeah.
and don't go out there and really explore and kind of put yourself in a way that we can't make you feel safe. And I'm doing air quotations right now, but and so I always suggest, and it is a better approach to start your goal with the question of what. What is it you want? Get really super clear on that. And that is imagining and seeing and feeling and believing, like, what do I see myself doing? Like,
Yeah.
what does my day look like? And what kind of people am I talking to? What am I wearing? What does my afternoon look like? How many days am I working? And what does my work look like? I mean, really just building that picture and putting that energy into getting clear of what it is, letting yourself dream big so you can see it, because this is already allowing the formation to occur versus coming at it from how, which just limits it and
Yeah.
already pretty much like kills the idea. So this is giving yourself time to breathe into this goal. What is it? And then from there is your why. Like, why do I want this? Why is this goal so very important to me? Like, how will it change my life? What will my life look like if I achieve it?
Mm,
How, like, what will be the outcome if I don't do this? How will I feel if I don't? And what will be the implications if I don't do this? And so this is like where your motivation comes from.
yeah.
When you really get clear on that, like why, um, it really kind of builds up like why this is so vital and why you're willing to take that leap of fear, that might come up, and also clears the mind too. Like, no, we're doing this because it's going to do this for us and it's going to help me with here and it's going to provide this for, all these areas of my life that I want this. So I find that those two questions really then open and provide you know, um, a springboard for the how,
Right.
because from those two, the how will develop,
Yeah.
because it's like in time, things will come to mind. And when you're putting more energy into it, new avenues open, things you never thought about kind of come your way, when you're getting clearer
Mm,
on what it is that you want and why you want it. So that's the way that, questioning your goal is really important, of the way you're doing it, the way you're approaching it. And then from that, I think the last, and I think the most important as well, is completely believing in yourself that you've got the ability to achieve this goal,
yeah.
right? I
That's the
mean,
most
it
important. Yeah.
is. I mean, you have to believe it before you can achieve it, but it goes back, and this is my psychology background coming out here, but it goes back to the psychologist Albert Bandura in the 1970s, talking about self-efficacy and believing you've got the capacity to achieve this
Mm,
goal. You have the skill set. You are confident in knowing that you've got that skill set, and this is different than confidence. Confidence, is how you feel about yourself. Do you like yourself? And this is. Do you believe you've got the skill set to achieve that goal?
right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and when you do know that, no matter what comes your way and what setback happens, you still have that drive to say, okay, like I can handle this. I can still go forwards, or okay, like, how can I think about this differently? You're
Mm,
more willing to bounce back and have that resiliency when you really believe in your skill set, and just going all in on yourself. Like, just saying, I'm doing this, and just making the decision to decide to go all in, and not living in, I don't know, today it seems hard, I really don't want to do that, so I'm not going to do this. Or when you start doing that backtracking, it really starts creating and letting self-doubt live in your
yeah,
dream and living in your goal, and therefore it pollutes it. But when you really know, and and this is why we go back to the top one, is getting clear on these whys, and like how this is going to affect your life and what and why. Then it really breeds when you do have that self-doubt kick in, and just like, no, I'm going to do this, and I've already made that decision, and I know I've got
yeah,
the skill set, or I'm going to find the skill set by my community, or you know and that's by the support system I've already put into place, by my coach, or by my support that I've already have. And that will really kind of help wrap up, letting that goal have a full chance of developing itself and breathing in your life.
yeah, that's great. Thank you. So I have a question for you. Like, obviously, we focus on the four pillars, we set our goals, and we got started. And probably things come along the way, or probably end of the year, like we didn't achieve the goal, the outcome we wanted. Like, obviously, things are out of control. So many times happens. How the person can react to that situation and can take positive from it rather than being negative and not setting a goal for the next year.
Yeah, that's a great question, because you're right. And that is what happens, like in life all the time,
Yeah.
every day. It's like there's a life that you plan for, and there's a life that you actually lead. And, like, where in the between do you actually get to the goal if there is a setback? And
Mm,
so, what I find to be extremely helpful is to look at, take an inventory list of like what happened and where things kind of got off track.
yeah.
And seeing this more so like from a perspective of like being an investigator, like you're just looking for clues. You're not trying to judge, or you're not like, beating yourself up. You're just like, oh, okay, well, I see here, I took a trip, and then it was hard for me to get back on, track because of my sleep schedule. And okay, that makes sense. Did I, correct that? If not, okay, how can I correct that? And then
Mm,
on to the next. And kind of taking just this systematic approach to it, of kind of seeing like, okay, where did I get stuck? What sort of support systems, am I missing here, or am I needing, or what did I not try yet
yeah.
here? And this is where a coach can really be like helpful,
Yeah.
because we really just help you, get questions to get clear, because sometimes it's really hard to read the label when you're inside the jar. Right, when you're in it, it's
Yeah.
like hard to be able to like see
See from
out, and
outside. Yeah.
yeah, and see like, what is this, and above all is just really having self-compassion for yourself, and not beating yourself up, and knowing that everything does really truly happen in divine timing.
Mm,
And like trusting the process, and trusting enough in yourself that, okay, like if this didn't happen now, it doesn't mean it's not ever going to happen. It just means that I'm on the road for it, and
yeah.
we just need a little bit of adjusting.
That's great. Thank you so much. So yeah, Sonia, we're coming to the end of this podcast. So those who's listening, if anyone wants to learn more about you, your work, where's the best place to find it?
Yeah, so I do have Instagram and Facebook, and my calendar is on there. So reharmonize your life. It's all one word. Yeah. Reharmonize Your Life is on Instagram, and my Facebook is Reharmonize Coaching and Therapy. So I will pop up on there, and I would love to, if anybody has a problem in their life that they really just need help getting clear on their goal, it would be my
Yeah.
gift to them to be able to just see if I can help them. I don't know if I can, but I would really love to try. So if they wanted to, they could definitely reach out, and I would love to try to help them. That would be my passion, and I love to serve people. So that'd be really wonderful.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. I learned so much from you as well. So it's been a pleasure having you on my show. So thank you for
Thank you
your
as
time.
well.
I wish you best of luck with
Yeah.
your business and your career as well.
Oh, thank you so much for Sal. It's been a pleasure being on and a joy. So thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thank you. So that's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast episode. I hope so you get some value from it. And those who's interested, learn more about Sonia, go reach out to her on a social media platform and yeah, get some help if you need some. And until then, I'll talk to you on our next episode. Take care, everyone.